We love. It's been a while. Whether you're live here or not, whether you're catching this in the near future, hope that y'all having a great day. You know what I'm saying? Y'all blessed. You know what I'm saying? And you're alive and you're breathing. That's a good thing. In spite of the madness and chaos that you're probably dealing with externally and internally. We got a special live tonight, my peoples. We got a special live tonight. Tonight, I'm going to be talking about a seed in a tree. Potential versus the end result. The reason why I'm talking about this is that people normally, for the most part, don't give themselves enough time to mold their potential into a particular form and give it give it some time to grow, nurturing it, putting it in the right environment in order for it to be what it was always destined to be. Majority of people, there's so many things that can like absolutely go wrong with that. It can be the wrong timing, to be quite honest. It can be you being in the wrong place, the wrong environment, which falls in the line of being in the wrong place. And there's a maturation process to absolutely everything. Absolutely everything. And the process of a seed, for the most part, before it comes up, it has to go down. It is enclosed in darkness. And as this seed breaks out into being what it has to be, it grows towards the sun. It grows towards the light. And we all have to go on that journey. Judah, what's going on? What is going on? What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? What's up? Thank y'all for tuning in. You know what I mean? Let's get the likes up, get some more people in there. But we all we have that process of enclosing ourselves darkness. We all have to grow out of that darkness, out of this state of ignorance that we're finding ourselves in. And when it comes to serving your purpose, this journey is not for everybody. And the most important thing about serving your purpose is that it's meant only for you. Judah, are you Christian? That I am. That I am. And it's kind of funny. This brings me to what I'm going to be talking about later on, involving the tree of life versus the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And people should be looking to go towards that tree of life. Guarded is the way. Guarded is the way. And it's something that I talked about on one of my lives, like I want to say 2 weeks ago. But getting back to the point of a seed is just that the process of a seed, you bury it in the soil, you bury it in the ground. You have to nurture it, you have to take care of it. And over time, it will grow to be that thing that it was always destined to be. It will grow into that tree. Most people pull a plug on the process. They're not patient enough to wait for the potential to be shaped. They quit. They lean into what other people tell them what they should be doing, how they should think, how they should feel, what they should eat, how they should dress. When you have an internal indicator within yourself that's letting you know what you've always been destined to be, what you're supposed to be when it's all said and done. Every single person has to answer that call. It's a soul calling. Every single person has to answer that call. Majority of people don't answer that call. They are scared of it. They scared of what that process will look like on the other side. And in order for you to be the person that you are destined to be, you have to walk the walk all the way to the end. And oftentimes you have to go down before you go up. And there's a like something that I talk about like on here all the time. It's called like the hero's journey. And that's been coined by a dude named Joseph Campbell. And it's talking about the monomyth of leaving the known world and going into the unknown world and coming back with the hidden treasure. So for us, we all had that task of going into that unknown world and coming back with that hidden treasure. And that seed contains absolutely everything that it's supposed to be on the inside of it. It just has to grow into it. It just have to grow into it. Like the if you are an adult, you have features now that you didn't have when you was like within like your first year of being in this world, experiencing this life, but it was already contained within you. That's the same thing with your ideas. That's the same thing with um so many other things. Like it's already been in you this whole entire time. It just simply needs to be unlocked. Your potential has to be unlocked. Um, there's something very difficult about that. And there was like in the Bible, in the first book, Genesis, Abraham, the father of many nations, he had to go on that journey of being that person that was walking that path that nobody else walked before him, essentially speaking, and going to a place that he's never been before and leaving behind what he thought he knew to follow his true calling, which I constantly say all the time. That's the most difficult thing that you can do is to leave everything behind and let it go and go towards your true calling in life. And it's a beautiful thing. You're in a process, you're going towards your fears, you're going towards the things that you're insecure about, and a lot of things that is gonna try to deter you. And it may seem like it's coming from outside of yourself, but it's not. It's all internal. It's all internal. And the whole beautiful thing about this process of serving your purpose is overcoming those shortcomings of the faults and the lies and the feelings of you thinking that you're not capable of doing what you're supposed to do, that you came to this earth to do in your lifetime. You're one of one. There'll never be another you that'll ever exist ever again. And everything is a form of expression when you really look at it. And the definition of expression is to make known your thoughts and feelings, which starts from an internal place. And then it makes its way out into the world, literally like a seed. And the seed natural path is to come out and make its way towards the light, towards the sun, instead of staying in darkness the whole entire time. But it gets rooted in the ground first. It gets extremely rooted. And that's the same thing with your purpose. Your purpose has to be rooted and deeply inside of you, first and foremost, before it makes its way externally towards the world, before it makes its way um, outside of yourself, towards the light, most importantly. And the foundation that you have to have when serving your purpose and molding your potential is doing it simply based off the truth. Because if you're not living the truth, you're living in a lie. And if you are living in a lie, you living in darkness, you far away from your purpose. You far away from the person that you are destined to be. And I encourage you guys to walk in the light and away from darkness and letting go all the false sense of self and identities that you associate with that's keeping you away from living a life that you're supposed to live and from being that beacon of light to other people that's around you because it's possible. Y'all fully capable of changing your inner world and changing the world that's around you. And I encourage y'all to walk that path instead of being a copy and paste of everything that's around you. That's super important. Very, very, very important. And there's not a lot of people like that in the world right now. And that's why we're heading in the direction that we're heading in. A lot of people feel what's going on. It don't feel good. Something deeply is disturbing a lot of people. They can't pinpoint what. There's a reason why people are feeling crazy amount of anxiety. There's a reason why people are feeling a crazy amount of depression is because they're living in darkness. And once you overcome that darkness and you walk in the light, those things slowly but surely disappear. If not disappear all at once. And it sounds really far-fetched until you get to that point of walking in the light, and then you're able to see really clearly like what's going on out here and how deceived people are and how deep in darkness people are. And when you're walking in darkness, you're prone to stumbling, you're prone to bumping into walls, and you're prone to falling off cliffs. And this is literally the blind leading the blind. People don't know why they're doing a half of the things that they do. And not only that, people attention spans are decreasing by the day. They can't focus anymore. And the most dangerous thing is when you can't even focus on yourself. That is extremely dangerous. You need to be able to focus on yourself. And once you're able to focus on yourself, you will be able to focus on anything and everything that's outside of you with clarity and insight and foreknowledge. And I'm gonna repeat myself again, like the foundation to all of this, like your purpose has to be rooted in the light of truth instead of the darkness of lies. And the truth is definitely out there for the people that want it, but majority of people don't want the truth. You can't handle the truth. That and you're trying to figure out what you're going to do with the rest of your life, you have to tap into the creator. You have to tap in to the highest source of power that created any and all things, which is so real. This is a spiritual life that we're experiencing, and a physical comes second. That's the truth. I don't know if you guys ever heard the term seek ye first the kingdom of God, seek the kingdom of heaven. It's not going to be found outside of you. It's going to be found inside of you. Um, at the end of the day, when you wake up to that reality, you're gonna see that this life that we experiencing is eternal, eternal thing. It's infinite with so many possibilities, and you were made within that. And if you walk into the light of that, there's nothing but good that can happen to you. Seriously. And when you walk in a light of truth, there's a lot of things that's not going to be able to move you off your square. And you have to mold your potential. And no matter, even when you got things that happen in your day, in your life that try to throw you off, your purpose and your connection to the truth and walking in the light of truth should be so strong that it don't even matter. Nothing is going to throw you off, no matter what, no matter what, because you're here for a reason. You are here for a reason. And I'm one of those people that believe that everything happens for a reason. Um, Meaningless things do happen by people who act meaninglessly, and meaningful do things do happen by people who act meaningful. That's just the way of life. But in order for this universe to be what it is, there's an order to it. The sun rises and the sun falls. We rotate on a axis every single day, and we're on a rocket ship going around the sun. How crazy is that? Suspended on nothing. How crazy is that? Suspended on nothing. And there's a mind that and an intelligence that created all of this. And it's kind of insane. Somebody that piqued my interest with understanding that, even though, like, I'm not even gonna lie, I'm not that smart. I'm really not. But Isaac Newton, him understanding the universe and how the universe worked, how gravity worked, how light worked, his basis in that was the due to the fact that he understood that God was real. And he wouldn't have came across any of those truths if that wasn't in his foundation. And a lot of his discoveries came from him literally being in a dark place. So, for example, with Isaac Newton coming up with like a lot of his theories and stuff for like optics and light was during a dark time, during a time when a pandemic broke out in um England, and he had to go home from school and go to where his childhood home was, and he pretty much locked himself in a dark room and was experimenting with prisms and how light came through and how different colors came from a light ray. That's super interesting. Super interesting. And a lot of people throughout like history, a lot of their discoveries came from pretty much like their darkest moments, quite literally, when they potential like came to be. Albert Einstein was another one of those people, and his miracle year, where he came up with those four papers that like changed the landscape of science itself, came from a very uncertain, dark period in his life where he was working at a job where it was like him doing patents and stuff like that, and where the world's most famous science equation E equals MC squared came out of this dark time. To be quite honest, so don't be afraid to get yourself grounded. Don't be afraid of living out your potential. Don't be afraid about what other people think. Don't be afraid about how other people see you. Don't try to like please other people. None of that. Because they not thinking nothing about you, to be quite honest. Everybody, for the most part, be thinking about themselves. And the people that do try to put you down and everything, that just goes to show how miserable they are as a person. And people are miserable. People hate their lives. People lives suck. People lives suck. Um, and when you fall short, don't don't use that as a way to keep yourself from your purpose. Don't use that as a means of quitting, but keep going. Keep going until the very, very end. The one thing that I talk about a lot is how important purifying your heart and purifying your soul and purifying like your mind actually is. And that will give you clarity. But if you try to live out your purpose on top of the mess that's going on inside you internally, you will be walking in blindness and you will be um misguided and you will fall off the way. Walk in the light of truth. I cannot stress that enough. You have to walk in the light of truth. And you have to seek that internal indicator that's pointing you in a certain direction that at first people may not understand it, people may not get it, but that's not the point. That's literally not the point. Because after a while, once your seed starts taking shape into the world, people going to be able to like see it. They're going to be able to see that tree. They're going to be able to see the tree for what that tree is meant to be. But a lot of people don't see what that seed was um of that tree before it came to be what it is. Mhm. So yeah, this is a really, really quick live, but um, I'm encouraging y'all to walk that narrow path. In the book of Genesis, when the fall of man happened and we fell from the grace of God, Eve ate from the tree of knowledge and she got talked into um eating of this tree by the ultimate deceiver, the ultimate snake himself. Like, yeah, if you was to eat this, you would see how God would see. You would be a God yourself. That's crazy. We are enticed to go for those shiny things. We are enticed to go for those things that look good, but oftentimes going towards that and partaking in those things, it never ends well. It never ever ends well. And by her taking partaking in this, and she didn't receive any vision or light and being able to see good from evil, ultimately speaking. In fact, a spiritual lens was closed. Darkness, bro. And also for Adam, it's the same thing. Once he ate of it, he became blind himself. And then the first thing that they tried to do is they tried to hide from the creator. How you gonna hide from something that's Indian everywhere at any given time, all the time? Ain't no hiding from that. And the all-knowing creator went down the line of questioning based off of how he created them. So he created Adam first, and he asked Adam first. And instead of being accountable for what he did, he blamed Eve. And then he went to Eve, and she wasn't accountable either. And she blamed the serpent. And in that particular order, curses was given out to everybody, everything. So the serpent received the first curse, and then after that, Eve received the second, and last but not least, Adam received the last curse, and the whole land was cursed. And then they was kicked out of the Garden of Eden. And then after that, once they got kicked out of the Garden of Eden, the way towards the tree of life and the garden was blocked and guarded by flaming swords and cherubims, which are angels. But The way to get to the tree of life is still out there. It's not like it's gone, but you need a different sort of perception in order to know where that way actually is and how to get on the path towards the way of the tree of life. And like I said, you have to go in a reverse direction of internally searching within yourself to find this way that's guarded. You're not going to find it outside of you, no matter how hard you try. You will not find the tree of life outside of you. It seems like the algorithm is on point recently. I just got back from a lecture with a descendant of Rabbi Loria's Kabbalah. Amazing. That's actually amazing. How's it going? Thank you for joining us live. Thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, that way is guarded. You have to go internally and seek that way. You have to go internally to seek the way towards the tree of life. And then once you find that way, you found your purpose. You found your purpose in his life and the next life over. This is a spiritual experience that we're having. It's not physical. You have a soul within your body that, depending on what you're doing with this body, and your soul is observing this all, you have a soul within your body. And depending on what you're doing, is going to determine whether your soul is heavy or if it's light. And you want to make sure that your soul is light by the time you check up out of here. You have to make sure that. But this is the problem. This is the ultimate dilemma. And I'm gonna give people the benefit of the doubt because it's not your fault. It's just the way that throughout human history that we've been conditioned. You've been conditioned to have a heavy soul. And when you check up out of here with a heavy soul, your soul is trapped here on earth instead of ascending to the heavens where it's supposed to be and where your creator is and where you come from. That's the goal. And once you align yourself with that in your actual life, because your soul always was, your soul is, and your soul will be because of where the source of your soul came from. And going back to the book of Genesis, right? In the book of Genesis, before we were like what we were, God breathed his spirit in our nostrils and gave us a living soul. And we didn't have a living soul before that. And we were made out of the dust of the ground. And that's where we will return. But if you find that way, that is wow, that's actually crazy. That's actually the verse I studied today. That is wild. That's wild. Man, that's crazy. That's amazing. You aware of the significance of the letter? Is that iron? Did I say that correctly? Please let me know. Sadiq. Oh, fire. This is actually crazy. I gotta show you something, bro. This is crazy. That's amazing. It do look similar. I've been trying to teach myself Hebrew and Aramaic for like the last like 2 to 3 years, to be quite honest. Kid you not. And it's funny that you say Kabbalah as well. I've been like trying to also study the tree of life. Amazing. But I got this amazing book. I gotta show you all. I literally have to show you all. That's very difficult to do. You're on your way. You are definitely on your way. Keep doing what you're doing. You can be a lighthouse to a lot of people if you continue doing what you're doing. Guaranteed. Oh, that's awesome, man. You gotta teach me some Hebrew, bro. That's been like my main focus. So I had this book right here, and pretty much It's like a breakdown of like all the like letters individually and symbolically, like what they mean. So I'm pretty sure you more of a know more about that stuff than I do. But what I find so interesting, what I find so interesting and fascinating is from Olive, if I said that correctly, I'm still super English. You know what I'm saying? I'm mad American. But man, I love Israeli culture and the history of it. It's seriously awesome. Hebrew culture is amazing to me. All the way down the top is just like interesting how things start in the house of the father and emanates outwardly into the world. That's so amazing to me, man. It's super fascinating to me. Like mega. Can't even lie to you. Um, but through that, are you on the Discord by any chance? I'd love to connect sometime. I'll share my story background while I'm interested this stuff. I'm not, but I plan on starting something like that like extremely soon. Um if you have an Instagram, follow me on Instagram and message me. That would be a very interesting conversation and I'd love to hear your story, man. Seriously. Seriously. For anybody that's like in his live, it's served purpose underscore served on Instagram. I got all my information. It should be in the info of my YouTube channel. But please, man, reach out to me. Please reach out to me. I would love to hear your journey, man. Seriously, and get to learn. I'm always down with learning and upgrading in the meta. But that's awesome. Isn't it crazy how the world works, everybody? Isn't this crazy? This is very spontaneous to me. Very spontaneous to me. Just a couple of months ago, would have never thought that I'd be sitting here doing a YouTube live. It's insane. Not only that, I would have at some point, and this is something that I talk about all the time on the on my podcast, the Purpose Serve podcast. I never thought in my life that at some point I was not comfortable with talking into a camera. I was not comfortable with it. For through doing that and me trying to shape my own potential and walking in my own light, it it molded me in such a crazy way. It made me get over those limited beliefs of what I thought I had. Wow. I appreciate that, man. We will be getting in contact soon for sure. For sure. I know this is a blessing in disguise. Crazy. Really crazy, man. Um, wow, yeah, appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Hopefully, that'd be crazy if one day you'll be a guest on my podcast episode, sharing your story. And thanks for subscribing, man. Thank you. But for those that's tapped in, especially my boy right now, um, you guys are special. And there's a reason why you're here at this very moment. And you have a light to shine in the world. And this is my second time bringing up the lighthouse reference. When you're shining your light out and into the darkness, what happens is the darkness gets lit up and the darkness is no longer what that darkness is because of the light hit it. And it's similar to how the light works in your room. If I was to cut off this light right now, of course, everything would be dark. But as soon as I flick that light on, it lights up everything. And this is kind of crazy. One of the first things that our all-knowing creator did was he created the light and the darkness, and he separated the two. He separated the two, and he called the light day and the darkness night. There's a time and a place for absolutely everything. And this is what happens when your internal light gets shined on the darkness. Amazing. It makes that thing light too. It makes it light too. But this is the crazy thing about shining that light, especially amongst people that don't want to see that light, that don't want to see it. They want to dim your light and they want to take the light out. And it's kind of crazy, right? In the Bible in the New Testament, the opening statements like the was in the beginning was the word, and the word was with God. So the very first thing that came out of the mouth of God, you're tapped in. I just got the notification. You're tapped in, bro. You're tapped in. You're good. You are good. But the first thing that God uttered, the most amazing thing that he uttered out of his mouth, well, not even the most, everything he utters is amazing, was let there be light. Let there be light. And once he said that, there was light. And even going back before that point, even going way back to the very first opening lines of whatever you're reading, the Pentateuch, the Bible, Torah, is in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The heavens came before the earth. The spirit came before the physical. And even still talking about the spirit of God, when the earth was without form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep of the water, the spirit of God was hovering not under, not in the middle, but above it, above it. So not only is the heavens above you, it's also within you as well. Seek ye first the kingdom of God. Let's go. Amazing. That is amazing. But yeah, let there be light was the first thing that God said. And going back to John, in the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and the word was God. And let there be light was that word. And that word came and embodied itself into a human body. And not only that, and this is throughout throughout the Bible, this is the most the Jesus was the like obviously the telltale sign of this, but Jesus, it's been countless amount of examples of people bringing the light to other people, and other people rejected it. They rejected it because when you walking in the light, you looking at the through the lens of your experience through life. But when you're walking in darkness and you're walking away from the truth, you're walking in a lie. And ultimately, you're only looking at death. And I'm not talking about physical, but I'm strictly talking spiritual. This is my spirit talking to your spirit. This is my soul talking to your soul. So it's going to take a different sort of lens for you to understand what I'm saying right now. It's going to take a different lens. You're going to need your spiritual eyes to see me, and you're going to need your spiritual ears to hear what I'm saying right now. Seriously. And if you pay attention to what's going on, people are using their physical body to understand this world that we're living in that's based off of spiritual laws. Everything natural is based off of spiritual laws. Everything unnatural is based off of laws of darkness and lies. In this world right now that humans are creating are based off of lies and darkness and deceit, deception at its most highest level. Man, like artificial intelligence is cool now, it's funny, yada yada yada, but it's going to get real really quickly. And people aren't going to be able to distinguish what's real and fake. And even more of a scarier thing is just that people are not going to care whether something's real or fake. Is this thing entertaining? Is this thing grasping my attention? Instead of asking a question of, is this thing bringing me life and making me light in my spirit and soul? Or is this distracting me from something? I was just having a conversation with a friend of mine not too long ago because starting next month, I used to have pretty much like lectures and classes, and I'm changing the format to make it more discussion based, and they're going to be viewable online. But I used to do these things called like serve your purpose like classes where I pretty much go from how do you go from ideas to results? How do you go from ideas to results in a practical way to live out your dreams and aspirations? And over time, with me doing this, it just got deeper and deeper and deeper. It got deeper and deeper and deeper. And I'm going to start these discussions up yet again. But this is me sidetracking. But one of the main questions that I ask, and I was talking to my friend about the other day, and I ask people this like all the time, like, who are you? That's the most important question that you could ever ask yourself. Who am I? Who am I? What most people are going to tell you, they're going to tell you what they are instead of who they are. They're going to tell you what they do. They're gonna tell you that they're like, a father, a son, a husband, a police officer, a lawyer, but that's not who you are. Those are things that you identify with. That's not who you are. That's what you are and what you do. That's not who you are. And then when you get people to understand that, they get stuck. Wow, who am I then if I'm not those things? Because if any of those things that I just said get stripped away from you, if your job title gets stripped away from you, if your relationship status gets stripped away from you, you're then going to a mindset of having an identity crisis because you associated so strongly with what was false. And a lot of people are struggling with that. And this is why we're having a crazy epidemic of a mental health crisis, which me personally, I've been calling it a soul sickness because that's exactly what it is. And people's souls need cleansing. They need to take themselves to the soul hospital instead of taking pills and medication. I'm not a doctor though, so take that with a grain of salt. Seriously, take that, take that, take that with a grain of salt. But yeah, there's a soul sickness going on, and your soul need cleansing, and it need cleansing with the light of truth. And you need to walk in the light of truth. Don't think about it. Don't feel it. Know that that's there. That's a part of having faith. And by you walking that walk, you will find the path towards the tree of life for sure. And your potential from that seed will grow until what it's actually supposed to be naturally, not unnaturally and not artificially, for sure. And that's the question that you have to answer. Who am I? And that's going to tell you what you have to do and who you have to be in this world when it's all said and done. I hope you guys are um having a great night. I gotta head out of here. This ain't the last time that you guys are going to be seeing me. And for everybody that tuned in tonight, God bless your soul. Don't take my word for it. Ask for wisdom and understanding from your creator that created absolutely everything. And you will be enlightened with the truth. And you won't have to second guess yourself with anything. I literally promise you that. I promise you. But like I said, don't take my word for it. But the truth is within you. And if you looking outside of yourself for the truth, you're never going to find it. You will never find the truth outside of yourself. You're just consuming lies until it ultimately destroys you and lead to the death of your soul, lead to the death of your mind, lead to the death of your spirit, and lastly, least importantly, at least to the death of your body. This is a spiritual war that we're going through right now. There's nothing physical about it. Even though we're having a physical experience, and I'm not denying the physical world at all. And this is why I said, use your spiritual eyes to see what I'm saying, and use your spiritual ears to hear what I'm saying. Seriously. And then if you live through that lens, you'll be okay. You will be okay. Until next time, catch y'all on the flip side. Serve your purpose. Deuces.